Hi Booktube, it's Stephanie. Today I'm going to share with you my March TBR with my Labyrinth TBR game. So, she hit a fan a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, great. And my mom was, after 1.5 weeks of nagging, she finally agreed to let Dad drive her to the hospital. She had COVID and needed to be admitted to the hospital for a couple of days. She's home now, but, you know, multi-sick. Yeah, let's ignore that big pandemic that's going on. It can't be that. My mom frustrates me, and then I realize that she and Dad is the same stubbornness, except like for inconveniences, they will tell you that they have an inconvenience, but with really big things that are very painful, serious or anything like that, no, let's not bug anyone about it. And then me and my sister just goes, fuck, that's our genes. We know what we are looking forward to the future, aren't we? So when it comes to my TBR in February, I felt yeah, shit hit the fan 2 weeks ago. I filmed videos, didn't feel like editing anything, and then, as I said, Mom admitted to hospital, so I have some videos that I could put up if I wanted to edit them. But yeah, I DNF'd one book, and I am counting that to fulfill the prompts. That was the Daughter of the Moon Goddess. I just did not care a fucking shit. Yeah. Beautiful descriptions of the world and things like that, just it was boring. I don't know why it took that long for me to say. It was boring. And then the other ones, yeah, since I didn't, like, I stopped reading like 2 weeks ago and just sporadically picked something up. So let's just go ahead and play my game. And for the month of March, due to how my reading went in February, I will reduce the number of cards to a third of what I normally would do. So I normally have 3 cards, my opponent have 9. Now I'm going to lower that to a third, so 1 for me and 3 for my opponent. And then, since I did not complete my TBR, I will have 2 prompts instead. This could be pretty interesting to see what happens. And with interesting, I mean yellow might get home first, which means... Actually, what did I say that was? I don't... A D20 roll? D20 roll or a D10 roll extra? I don't know. I will see when that happens. I actually have not figured that one out, but yeah. So, all the cards are in a pile. And I twisted them because I want them all to be on the right side up. So we'll see what happens. So 2 cards for me, 3 cards for my opponent. Should I start with 1 card for me? Because that's what I usually do. I pick my 3 cards first and then the opponent's. Well, pick from the top of the pile. And then I typically... What's the term? Yeah, and then my opponent get, and I could give the bonus card after that. Oh well, why not? Let's do that. And I just forgot my goal roll. I can do that afterwards. That's fine, I can do that afterwards. That's a roll that I do to try to reach my goal, because they are the D10s. The extra roll that I do every time is to help me with my goals for the year, which are going not so well. But yeah, okay, I have done this way too long. Okay. So, Pile of Shame, a book I previously put on the TBR, then did not read. And then we have the 3 for my opponent, which is yellow. So we have a favorite, or Booktube favorite, I think it's called, a sci-fi, and a translated book from a language that's not English or Swedish. So I can't read a an English translation of a Swedish book, and I can't read a Swedish translation of an English book. Okay, let's just give my own prompt first. This is a book, so for a subscription box. I actually did read one last month, it just wasn't from Illumicrate or Page Habit. So I did read one, but okay. Fine, everything is fine, everything is fine. Okay, so I need to go to that one and that one. I don't need to go far, basically. Oh, I knew this was a possibility. I didn't think about it. Okay, I'm fine. I'm just gonna start. This can go horribly wrong or it could go brilliantly. So let's just, yeah, you can see it. And then continue on this track and boom. Yeah, it's a good thing I don't plan this. Okay, can I get any more prompts? Actually, holy crap. Okay, this, oh, okay, I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. So we have a sci-fi. We have a favorite. And we have a translated book. And I have a tile that's straight, which means that I just need to do this. And I can actually pick whatever way I want to go home. So let's just go home. That was it. I was basically convinced that yellow would get home first when I started. I'm not mad about it. So the prompts I have for March for my game, not including any readathons, is translated book, a favorite book, a sci-fi, a book from a pile of shame, and a book from a subscription box. And now I need to roll the d10s to get my extra prompt to help my goals. So, what will my extra prompt be? 55. What's 55? 55 is a new release. So let's think about this. So I'm back, and as always, however, my TBR is always subject to change, because it just is. So let's just go through the books that I currently have put on for all these prompts. So let's start with the easy one. For sci-fi and a book, I have Winter Sorbet by Everina Maxwell, in which we are following a couple who, in the very beginning, that's how far I've gotten, needs to marry for political reasons. And yeah, there's some kind of evaluation going on, and this union between these two people are pretty dependent on, well, this investigation and this evaluation is pretty dependent on their union when it comes to these planets to be strong. And yeah, what to say. And one is suspected, I haven't gotten to that in the book, but I probably will soon. One is suspected of murdering his former husband. There we go. I mean, like, I liked it, it's just I wasn't in the mood for it, so I put it down. This might be what I read for this. As I said, everything is subject to change. Then for Pile of Shame and a favorite, Full Metal Alchemist by Hiromu Arakawa. Now, I did start this a couple of weeks ago, but it's the part that I'm rereading. So yeah, I am looking forward to this, and hopefully I will actually finish this. So this will be for Pile of Shame and Favorite, because this series is pretty famous. And technically it could also go for Translated if I finish this for this. So I could go that, but right now I have this short story collection in for Translated, because this is a book with short folk tales about animals in them, and it has folk tales from all over the world in it. So yes. And then for a new release, earlier today, as in between 2 and 3 a.m., don't question it, I finished The Accidental Apprentice by Amanda Foodie, and I really liked it. And there is a sequel out. And it is a new release, and I could put it as an audiobook. So that's what I'm going to pick for this. And in this we are following Berkeley, who in the first book accidentally bonds with a beast and goes on a hunt to try to make sure to get it off him, because he lives in a village where everything about the beasts are the worst things that could happen, so he gets driven out. Yes, so we'll see. Basically I really enjoyed the first book, so I'm really hoping that I will like the sequel. So then I have 2 readathons that I'm hoping to participate in. One that, well, since I have started one of the books here, yes, but yeah. And that is the Globetrotter Tom, hosted by Kevin from Much Ado About Books. I will link his channel down below, or the announcement I mean. And it's a readathon that spans all over the month of March, and the goal is basically to go and travel all over the world. I haven't decided to see what I haven't done that much. I have picked out the first couple of books, because we are allowed to double up, we can't triple up. So that's what I'm gonna do. So for the first prompt that everyone gets, no matter what team you're on, is you need to start somewhere. So you need to read something that has to do with where you are right now. And in my case, I'm in Sweden. So I'm picking this one. This is the folktale short story collection that's translated to Swedish, which we are allowed to have. And then I am in the middle of the introduction, which has the Swedish part in it. And I could also technically start with the Swedish folktale that's in here. I could always start with that. But when it comes to the countries, I asked Kevin, because I immediately thought about this when he told us about the visiting as many countries as possible. And he said that every single one of these would count. So I will visit a lot of countries, including apparently some that don't exist today. This was printed in 1988, so that should tell you something. Some of these countries does not exist, which feels so weird, or have changed names. I remember that name, but I don't remember what country that's nowadays, because I was a kid. But yeah, so this I have as for the start of the book. Then for my team, I chose Team Train, which I commute by train every single day, so let's pick that one. So the 2 prompts that I'm going to pick for this book is green cover and a nature word in the title. And for that I have Fire Worlds, the Sand Warrior. And yeah, this has a lot of green on the cover, and it has the word sand in the title. I could also use the weeping tide, because tide is also a nature word. But yeah, I am picking this one. And this is a graphic novel in which we are following a bad sand dancer. It sounded fun, and it was my body read friend basically went, this sounds like something you might like. so I got it out from the library. And yes, we can use one book for 2 prompts, otherwise I could actually use it for all of these because the amount of time I renew this loan, it has been delayed. But the second one is for delayed and eco-friendly, and for that I have Night of the Ice by Yari Ogawa, which is a story about a professional figure skater who is anxious every time that he gets on the ice, so his best friends need to help him to be able to perform. And that sounded very dirty. Whatever. This I was supposed to have read in February. I did not, so it has been delayed. So these are the 3 books that I have picked out for the Globetrotter Tom. And obviously I can use whatever other books that I read for countries if I want to, so that's fine. And then we have the Gera Predator for the Magical Readathon, the Aurelium Readathon. And this one is to pick our Legacy and our Conduits. And yes, I have an S there because I probably will have more than one. When it comes to Legacy, she technically didn't say that we could only pick one. Like in the paper it said pick one. But did you have to only pick one? At least I will have options. So I ended up in Team Archivists. So an archivist basically forms a pact with a god or goddess, and maybe with a demon, and we search for lore. That sounds brilliant and fits me perfectly, I feel like. So let's start with the Legacy. For this I decided to pick up 2. The first one being Velinas, which is the one that I definitely will try to go the hardest for, because this is the goddess of death. Yes. And for this you need to read a book with high stakes, or a book where you think characters could die. This is Full Metal Alchemist, volumes 1, 2 and 3. People have already died. People will probably definitely continue to die. Or very close to it. Because it's bloody. And it doesn't, the prompt doesn't specify the main characters, because obviously this is a pretty long manga series, so they will not die in the first 3 volumes. But yeah, if no one dies in here, I would be extremely surprised. Then we have Sky on the cover and the word Sky. I blanked on this and I was like, oh no, do I need to read House of Earth of Sky and Breath? Oh no, no. I mean, I might, but picking it for TBR? No. And that is for the prompt of, oh crap, what have I written? Atlas? It's the Phoenix god. And Phoenix god of the sky. And for this you need to read a word with a sky on the cover, or the word sky in title. Holy crap. This is going great. So temporarily I have Winter Sorbet by Irina Maxwell. This is a sky on the cover. A beautiful one too. Then for Conduit I decided to go with Bone for one of my 4 alternatives. And for this we need to have a bone or a skull on the cover, and for that I have Overlord 3, The Bloody Valkyrie by Kugin Maruyama, with art by Sobin. And you can definitely see the skull on this character right there. I don't think that's Momomado or Lord Ains. Yes, so this is the 3rd light novel in the Overlord series. I really enjoyed the first 2 volumes, or the first 2 books in this. I got really weirdly emotional in the first one in the beginning, so I'm just really looking forward to continue with on this series. Let's pretend that sentence made sense. Then we have a spell book, because if I'm an archivist and deal with a lot of books, of course I should have a spell book. And for that I need to read a book that has 2 S's in the title. For that I have Sand Warrior, this 5 words, the Sand Warrior, because we have an S at the end of worlds and an S in the word sand. Then we have Wand branches on the cover. For that I have Storm's Heart. I might actually finish this beforehand because let's face it, the medical readathon is during a week. We could extend it. She did say go ahead and extend it. Thank you. And with my reading, yes. But as you can see, it has branches here on the trees. Now this is the sequel to Dragonbound. Oh, and it's by Tia Harrison. And this follows a new couple. I figured out what couple it was going to be immediately. It was not that big of a secret. I thought that the first book was fun. It wasn't like revolutionary or anything. And this one is the same. I'm just having fun when I actually pick it up and read something in it. I feel like the main character though, now the thing is she's in shock in this one, so I get it. But it just feels like she's very different from the first book, and it could be just a perspective thing because in the first book we have a person who has never met her, and in this one we are actually in her head. But yeah, that kind of irks me a bit, but I'm having fun, and if nothing else this could count for a prompt. But yeah, I could definitely see myself finishing that one off. Then we have Sword, Blade on the cover. Knight of the Ice, Knight of the Ice. On the back, well, we have branches first off, so I could use it for that. But here we go. That's blades. There are several blades here. Maybe not a sword, but they're blades. So this is my TBR for the game, together with the Weeping Tide by Amanda Foody. Yes. And then if we add the other books, we have these. We'll see what happens. We'll see. My goal is definitely to just do my best. Because my reading has been as it has been. But yeah. Oh, come on. Right place. Like that. But yeah, I am looking forward to get that short story collection off my shelf, so that would be really good. So yeah, what are you reading for this month of March? I definitely hope you had a better reading month than me in February, but please tell me what you're planning to read in March. And I just realized that I also need to figure out a body read. Well, okay, that sounds like I don't want to body read. I do, but my reading. But yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.